Don't adjust your television set or whatever you're watching it on, lads. It is a Satdeeee. It's a super Satdeeee. And joining me for a bit of a bonus night is the main man, Cosmos boss, Mr. Dimble. How you doing, bud?
I am well, mate. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Just a slight confession for everybody in the chat. We had a little bit of an emergency dash with about 5 minutes to go, as Dimble is also wearing a very white t-shirt. And I'm wearing a white t-shirt, and it was a little bit too boys on. Dimble's obviously got a little bit of a look at Ronan Keating. So he went dashing upstairs for a jumper, and now he's rocking a kind of a nunnery kind of Pep Guardiola turtleneck kind of crack. But yeah, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, you've ruined my look for the night by dressing exactly the same, but we'll roll with it. Literally roll neck with it, I think, and we'll get the show on the road.
Yeah, it could have been worse. I could have sent you a message saying, "Oh, we're doing fancy dress tonight, mate," and you rocked up in fancy dress, and we just weren't. So this is what we've got tonight for a bit of a super Satdeeee. We've got Tato in the chat, who's also wearing a white t-shirt. Horse, who will probably be wearing a white t-shirt, but will definitely have the baby attached to him, so you get away with it. Edwards is here, and the Ass Man's here. Steve Wright is here, live and direct from the Jack Daniels HQ with a 2-litre bottle injected straight into his veins tonight. Dimble, obviously you kind of host the stream, so I'm not going to kind of waste too much time kind of asking you what you think of the season, because obviously we'll have heard that on your stream the other week. But just generally, any kind of like quick thoughts?
Yeah, I think Dan with a t-shirt with like a 17-month-year-old emblazoned on it. We should buy that for him when he ever gets around to streaming. That'd be quite cool. Thoughts on the league, mate? It's tight, and it's very tight, very tight. Everyone's still in it. Apart from the loser of your match tonight, everyone's still in the run.
Yeah, the basement battle, pit of misery, dilly. We find ourselves there again. And Savage is just saying he saw the early start time moments ago. Sorry, Savage, it was going to be 10 bells, but yeah, I thought there was no reason why, to be honest. So we will crack on. Games tonight. We've got East Coast Cosmos, who have been stuttery but really solid, against Fosse Road, who kind of win one, lose one, draw one, win one. Again, two inconsistent teams that can really push for the top 6 and top 4 this season, I think. We've got Exiles Stanley. Exiles are on a little bit of a slide, but they halted that ever so slightly with a decent result against the Sloths, which was unexpected, really, in terms of form. We've got the Mighty Haggis, who are absolutely flying at the minute against Stackinson again, who are one of the inconsistent sides in the league that just cannot seem team to put, a series of good results back to back. Los Santos against the Badgers. Tato is 4 without a win, but sits himself in 8, and at the moment looks fairly solid. Not conceding many goals again, but needs to get 3 points tonight, you think, to keep chasing that top 3 that he's aiming for. Hodgie tweeted just earlier in the night that he thinks it's win or bust. He's at the win or bust stage already this season. We got the Satdeeee boys against Dudley again. Bottom basement battle, pit of misery, dilly, all that sort of stuff. You'd think the loser is looking mighty adrift, to be honest, even of the dotted line, never mind the top 3 or top 4. Sloths against Northern Burn, one side absolutely rampant at the minute. The Burn boss is undefeated in 5, winning 3 of those, and the Sloths boss, having sat top of the league, Sloths are falling apart again. 2 losses, could be 3 tonight. And then lastly, but by no means least, the resurgent Fulchester, who look very, very, very good and haven't lost since the opening game of the season under Hopkins and Macca, against the Vikings side, who, if they win tonight, would be a point outside the dotted line, which is absolutely nuts considering how poor their start was and how much Maxim was misfiring. So, Dimble, I'm going to hand it over to yourself. Where do you want to start, mate?
Let's go for... we'll get Los Santos Badgers out of the way early. I think we'll see whether the season is over for Los Santos or not.
This is how Hodgie goes tonight, so it's a slight change. He has went away from the 3 across the middle and has pushed 1 into AMC instead. The really impressive Romans Vasiliuk posting his best ever Super League numbers. He's definitely doing his bit for the LSK, but the rest of the team aren't really, mate. What's your thoughts on Los Santos?
They're a bit lost at the minute. They've got no real identity. I think that formation they started with is one they would hope would click, and I think this is Hodgie scratching around a little bit. But obviously some very, very good players still on the pitch and on the bench, and some not even made the squad.
Morientes Shevchenko not contributing in 8 games, and his main man Morientes still sitting on the bench, having only played once, is a little bit bizarre for me. I think, not that I know more than Hodgie, but Shevchenko at AMC and Morientes in the second strike place would probably look a little bit more solid, but Bergkamp was good for he who shall not be named last year. We go over to the Badger boys in the blue and the black, and this is really a side that Tato is becoming increasingly happy with, and it's becoming increasingly solid. Still 3 DMC, so fucking negative, man, in a manager that doesn't concede goals anyway. Zauri and Giggs on the wings looks really impressive, and Rossini makes his second appearance for Badgers tonight, having been solid against me with a goal disallowed in midweek. Boring Badgers, or is Tato he's got the right sort of game plan in terms of really challenging?
Oh, they've been boring as shit, haven't they? They've been really boring. He's given up on MCs. I think that's basically why he's doing this, but I don't think it's going to help his goals per game ratio. But he's a good team. It's a good team. He's got some players he likes. There's no excuses. He'll be hoping that these new players can now bed in, because that's what he needs. That's what he needs. Otherwise, he's going to slip down the table.
Yeah, absolutely, and you can get cut adrift really, really quickly if you don't get up the points. Fifey just saying in the chat that he's desperate for 3 points as he can do fuck all away from home. Hopkins is in the chat, so is Jens. Evening, lads, how you doing? Let us know what you're on the night there. Dimbles is on a little bit of a red wine. I spotted there, mate. Anyone in particular?
Yeah, some posh twat on TikTok recommending it. It's pretty decent.
Nice.
Aldi special.
Badgers. Boring Badgers score, and there is Shevchenko, as if hearing the curse of the core comms, or the comms rather. And this looks to be a lively little start to the night. This is what we like, both teams to score, coming in early. Feels a little bit more Los Santos Kings. Bearing in mind they're playing the diamond, which is kind of the unspoken point that it doesn't really work, although the Sloths have been making it work this season. They can't in the Bergkamp, and that would have been an absolute finger up to me, saying Bergkamp and Shevchenko for Morientes, and both of them could have scored. Feels very Los Santos Kings heavy, booking before the half time. We get the half time actually in the match. That's what indicate Badgers have created more, but the text didn't feel like that, Dims.
Yeah, text was pretty level. Shots not so level, but it's 1-1, and the Bergkamp, who wasn't touched in the last save, maybe he's a very good player. We don't know. He's obviously not got the goal in the end, but he looks like he's made a bit of a difference to this team.
Yeah, I think so, and I think the frustration for Hodgie would be Tato's side rarely kind of, concede that many chances, and the text very rarely looks heavy against Tato. But I think that's probably one of the sides where one of the matches where I think felt really really wide open. Toldo 5, interestingly, Tato saying the day that Burgos is waiting in the sidelines when Toldo gets sent off or drops an absolute clanger. How is it unspoken if you lot never shut up about it? That's a really fair point, Smuts. Love to hear this weekend from all of us here, mate. We know it's a really important weekend for you, mate. So a lot of love to you and the family this weekend. Tato is going as is. I haven't seen Hodgie around. I know he's a much more cool guy than us, Dimble. So he'd probably be out talking to people on a Saturday night, mate, with a beer in his hand. So
he's not got his headphones on his headset on the Saturday night, has he? With his white t-shirt on, he's out making friends.
He's out chasing women, isn't he? Condition all looks fine, so I'm going to go because I haven't seen Hodgie in the chat, and Tato is going as is in the hope to get the second goal of the game. We get to 54 minutes, and Los Santos Kings are the only ones that have had a shot. Vogel goes into the booking, and there's another booking. Badger's getting a couple of free kicks here. Nothing much happening. Shevchenko and Lizarazu, and there is Vasiliuk, and it wasn't even the curse of the click. I hadn't even clicked at that point, but Vasiliuk continues his fine form with 5 goals in 8 games now. Jens chasing women. The man has like right children at home. I'm guessing he's going to say 5 there. Yeah. That may be all the more reason why he needs to chase women.
He's got great sperm on him, that's for sure.
Yeah, that definitely. Sure. It's like Bewitched. He just twiddles his nose and a bird ends up pregnant. So that is what the Los Santos Kings team are looking like. Toldo with a 5, so unlike him, but keepers can, regardless of how good they are, can always chuck them in. Zanoni struggling a little bit, but fitness is a myth. Dimble, would you be doing anything here if you're Tato?
He's got some decent players on the bench for a change. I'd be tempted to change something. You can get an attacking player out on the right hand side, maybe one of the two on their bench. It's not enough, is it? I think he needs to roll that dice of his.
Yeah, I can see maybe pushing these into MC. Definitely Extabiria for Zauri, I would expect. Zauri better wing back than he is MR, and Extabiria is probably going to be just that little bit more creative. And Extabiria's he's been solidly good in a load of teams for a long time, hasn't he? He was really, really good for you. Done all right at Burn. I think he only played a couple of times, to be fair, but just seems to do okay.
He was a bit patchy for me. He was never good enough to start at AMC, and I had Zanetti on the right, so he just sat on the bench a lot. But yeah, I'd have no problem starting him on that right hand side, especially, or even up front. But at AMC, I think there's not many good AMCs, and I don't think he's going to get you much more than your 6.7 basic Super League rating.
Yeah, cheers for filling their dims, because I thought there was going to be a fair few bits of text from Tato there. So he is rolling the dice. He's given the Cocoms what they want. Zaria for Hosiba, and then Tato, if you can just... Yeah, lovely, brilliant. You've done that just as I was about to ask the question, mate, about the arrows. So let me just check that. Toldo off for Burgos, Helguera to MC, swap in Fagerhauer, centralise the 2 DMCs, Zauri off for Husaba, and then 2-2-3-1-2 with the arrows off the DMCs. That'll look good to you, Dims?
Yes, go.
Perfect. Let's crack on. A little bit more attacking from Badgers. And there is Vasiliuk, who looks to have put the game to bed with his 6th goal, although Clivert is just... wow, what a game this is to kick off the night. 3-3, a double brace. Tato would have went from smashing a laptop Macca style to absolutely jumping out of that white t-shirt of his. We're going to slow it down. Last 10 minutes of the game. Who's going to get the winning goal here, Dims, or is it going to peter out?
There's going to be a goal. That was right.
Catwick looks nailed on, doesn't it? Rossini putting it wide with a chance. Zanoni, it's all Badgers. It's all blue and black. Hodgie said this was last chance saloon. Giggs, Clivert's offside. Are the black and the grey going to get one more chance? It is going to fizzle out. But here's Lizarazu, Shevchenko, Raul past Exaberia. What a tackle that is. Vicente Lazaru. Shevchenko, Burgos makes a good save. But Toldo couldn't do in the first half. Here comes Exaberia. Silvestre said, Shevchenko, he's hit the post. And I've just called Ibrahim Saeed said in an effort to kind of make the commentary exciting. It's almost as embarrassing as when I first came on comms in season 7 and called Royce a reuser, but we'll not mention that either. Los Santos Kings Vasiliuk doing bits to keep Morientes on the bench. I think that is now 5-6 in 8, which is really, really good. Sigalko kind of
Fantastic,
levels that. And it's another draw for the Badger boys, although to be fair, it's away from home.
Yeah, manager turns up at the end. He's not happy. He's fucking he's
yeah.
bursting that change room after being at the pub for the whole game.
Steaming, stinking like a fucking working man's club carpet. Just comes in, hurls abuse, and then fucks off. Him and Vasiliuk are off on the rip. So they were 3-1 up with with a quarter of the match left to play, and the Badgers doing what Tato does really, which is rescuing a point from a tricky position. 2 games on the bounce where he's been behind, and 2 games on the bounce where he hasn't been beaten. We're not going to go to the Cosmos.
Stick on. Smuts is here. He wasn't sure if he's going to be here, so
all right, okay.
Still here, let's do it.
Let's do that.
I'm not
so
precious.
Just the one change for you then, mate. Yardell comes in the second striker position for Felipe Monero. There's a new tactic file submitted, which kind of gives us a little indication that there's maybe tweaks going on in the background. Your kind of form at the minute is 1 win in 4, a load of draws.
One defeat in 6, mate.
One defeat in 6. Perspective's a good thing, isn't it, mate? To be fair, go on. I'll let you talk you through this team. Are you compared to kind of squads that you've had in the past? Is this up there? Is it better? Is it worse? What's your kind of thoughts on this Cosmos squad?
It's not quite there yet. I'm not in love with it yet. I was in love with the team that got dismantled in a hurry last year, and the transfers there lined up. I was so excited. It's taken a lot to get over that, but I've got some good players.
I think you were nailed on for a star last year, mate. I don't want to bring it up again.
I very much doubt the game engine would have fucked me in some way, but I was nailed on for a kind of top 3 finish. And yeah, I would have at least had a couple of playoff games. So who knows? But yeah, in terms of this team, Ferguson's ALS are absolutely massive. Juliano's coming and done really well. I'm happy enough with it. My strikers, I'm rotating them about. I'm actually scoring more goals than I usually would if you look at the table, and I'm conceding more than I usually would. I'm usually about a goal a game conceded. So yeah, it's a bit of a different style so far, but the rotating the strikers seems to be working all right, even if it is a little bit annoying choosing which one to play.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ferguson kind of definitely recapturing his best form in the Super League, which was in a double shirt. Obviously, 3 goals and 1 assist in 7 games is pretty darn impressive. We go over to the Foss Road Unicorns. I've got to kind of resist calling them the Fossey Road Unicorns because it absolutely sends them nuts. They make the one change, I believe, which is just someone on the bench. It's Anderson for Bishkan on the bench. They looked fairly good last time out, dismantling the slots, winning 3-1 with a Heskey brace. Smuts has obviously spoke about this plan, about kind of wanting this squad to kind of be a season 2 squad. Is this good enough for kind of top 4, top 3 season 1, Dims?
It doesn't look it, but who knows? It's picking up results every now and again, and some of them players are performing above the levels I would expect, but he doesn't seem quite strong enough. Heskey's your big man. He was after a big man, and he's coming and done really well. But you can't see it. A few of these players, you can't see it lasting. That's what I will say about Unicorns. It looks all right every now and again. You can't see it consistently being good. But yeah, who knows? It's just a game, innit? They could do really well.
I think I definitely forget how young Heskey is on 0102.
You always think he was a 30-year-old. You always think he was a 30-year-old, don't you? Like
and so I think it would be like a beasted up, top facilities, top scouting, top training, top coaches, a beasted up, and Emil Heskey would be like something to behold, I think. Dims, I'll not ask you for a prediction here, but if you do want to let us know what you think in the chat. I think it's a big game for you both, really. If you were to win, you really, get yourself back in that top 3. Fossey Road win, then they go above you in the league, mate. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a big one.
Big 3 points this one. Best of luck to you both. Looks as though it's Fossey Road early doors. Kuhl with a shot, and then Paddy Vieira gets in there. Stanic, that mercurial Stanic, and there is Harry Kuhl coming in off the left-hand side and putting East Coast Cosmos 1-0 up. inside the first 15 minutes. Heskey putting himself about. Franca putting something horribly wide. Don't know if it was a header or a shot. Nick Matullin having to spray the ball a little bit from the back. It feels as though Harry Kewell is bang involved there, sets up Pizarro, but Pizarro doesn't score. Someone was offside, and then the ball peters out until half time. Harry Kewell 1-0 up. Got to be happy with that, Dims. Other than the first 10 minutes, it felt a little bit Cosmos heavy.
Yeah, it was good. 1-0's not enough, but it was good. Obviously restricted them, so yeah, just happy with that. It's always good to be 1-0 up at the break, but we need more. We need more.
Yeah, we need more. Definitely need more. You've seen the day with Grimsby that 2 goals isn't enough, mate, haven't you?
One's not enough. Two's not enough. Fucking three's probably not enough today. I'm having. So yeah, four will do, please.
We'll go over to Smuts first of all, just kind of give him a chance to have a look about what he wants to do, and then he's had a couple of minutes there, Dim. So nothing much standing out, struggling probably to get the supply to Pizarro and Yardell, but you'd expect that with that 2-4 in that kind of traditional 2-7-1 style, although they're playing the 2 up top rather than the 2 EMCs. Are you doing anything at half time there, mate?
No changes for me. I like that comment from Fifey as well. That's a nice one.
Yeah, it was good that I've just had a little chuckle at that as I was reading it. Right, Fossey wrote, are making changes. So we're going Owen for Franca. I'm in the middle of 3. Yeah, Arrow and Dalmat, that's it. Cheers. Lovely. Cheers for being so quick, Smuts. Nothing for you, Dims?
No, good. 60, mate. Cheers.
And we go to 60. Little bit of blue. Following the 45 minutes, as we get to 50 minutes, couple of chances there. It felt like squirms loose from Nick Matullin, but the defence get it clear. Michael Owens' name being mentioned. Pizarro seems to have had a couple of shots, but hasn't yet been able to find the back of the net. I felt as though Tayibi made a double save. We'll get to 58 minutes. We'll hit the button, and we'll see what we want to do. I'm going to go over to Smuts first. We've got a 5 for Martin Lawson, who's been really, really good for him so far. And there's condition if he wants to have a look. Load of 6s in that kind of top half of the pitch. You'd probably be expecting to maybe see an extension of those wing back arrows, potentially Vieira up at MC and Liverani is the 1 DM potentially. But we will just jump over to the Cosmos while we wait for Smuts to decide. You doing anything there, Dims?
Yeah, I'll have MDS on for Michelini, just I seem to have broken Michelini. And can you put Hussein on for Yardell? A bit of a weird one, but Larson's slow and he's on a booking, and I want Hussein's pace.
I think someone said in the chat the other night, I think it might have been Fifey actually, who said in the chat on a stream the other night that he definitely felt that you were probably one of the best at executing changes in game, and I mean, I would never think of that logic, mate. Larson's on a booking, Hussein's fast, he's slow, so you're playing 4D chess there, mate.
I appreciate Fifey's comment, and I felt it was something I was shit at, and I need to get better at it. And this season it seems to have gone okay, but I don't fucking know. That's what I've done. It's probably not the right call. I've taken a man off with an 8, and I've put a man on that's pretty weak against a really strong defender. So it could go really bad.
Yeah, worlds away from me having an epileptic fit with me mouse when I'm making changes at half time, mate.
There's nothing worse than when you stream it though. It's like so I can't wait to get done with the streaming bit. And just manage my team because that'll be good. Yeah, he's taking him off anyway. So there you go. Shit change.
Yeah.
He's reacted. The man he's reacted in the other dugout.
Yeah, he's scared of Dario Hussein's blister and pace. Better to have him not there at all than have him blown out of his arse. Larson off for Rivaldo, one at the back with Michelini, with Maldini central. Rivaldo up at MC. Yeah, take it off that match.
Just narrative wise as well, I picked up both of those players that came on for Paolo Maldini. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, now we go. There's Mario Stanac. It is the prize boy of the Cosmos, the Prince of Cosmos. But there's Saviola, keeping the game alive. Dem will not want to be saying that. Fossey Road are one of those teams that, never quite out of it, given the riches that they've got.
Scoring bunches, don't they? It's 2-3 goals all at once.
Absolutely. They either kind of score 9 or 3 or whatever. I think it's partly to do with how bloody good their wing backs are. I had a mad dream about Zé Roberto last night. Just remember that. And you know what? You know when like you don't remember what the dream was, but you wake up and you're like, I've just dreamt about Zé Roberto. What the fuck? Bit weird. So we get to the final whistle, and the East Coast Cosmos hang on, although pretty dominant. Double the shots on goal.
It'd been a robbery if he'd have scored there at the end.
Yeah. I think the ominous thing, Dims, is you've never really built teams that attack really well. You've always kind of built them on being solid and kind of not conceding and putting games to bed when you maybe 1-0 up. But you are putting the goals away at the minute, and Harry Kewell's kind of front and centre of that, really, with a 10 and a man of the match performance. Zielius doing what we know he can do, and he's done for a long while now. And also shout out Carlos Jacks, who probably that MR position is probably where you have got a bit of a question mark in your own mind.
I think Simkoviac's my first choice, but Jacques seems to be a bit of a wild card. He just seems to do something when he's there, like 3 key passes, and that's exactly why he's there. I'm not bothered about if he tackles or not. It's just can he create something? And something about Jacques. I quite like him. He looks a really shit version of Jacques as well. If you actually click on him, he looks pretty weak and no strength, no jumping, no bravery, no balance. Yeah, so he's not a great version, but I just feel like there's a bit of an X factor with him.
Over to the Foss Road boys, who were let down for the first time this season by Martin Lawson, although they did pull themselves back into it. Javier Saviola has been pretty darn good for them, to be fair, with a goal contribution in at least once every 2 games, but just couldn't quite get it over the line tonight or claw themselves back, as we've seen Badgers Patrick Vieira putting himself about, and that's probably one that Smuts and the boys just need to kind of take and crack on, to be honest. Next one, really interesting game this for me, Stackington versus Haggis. Haggis, who have looked very good, and Stackington, whose form has been really patchy. Some decent signs against the Exiles, who were looking really good, and then a comeback from behind win with a freak 9 men, 2 keepers, both sent off against Dudley Hill, but you can only play what's in front of you. This is how they go tonight. No changes, or there is. Argyle comes in for Sammy Hupia. Other than that, he sticks with these 2 blocks of 2 and the 4 across the middle. Where's it going wrong, or where's it going right for the Stackington boys this season?
I think they need time to get to know their manager, who's a bit of what do you call it, eccentric character. It's a bit like, imagine Bielsa coming into training. That's what I imagine Horse would be like to these spreadsheet players. They don't know what he's doing. He's got his own particular ways of doing things, and they're just getting used to him.
His training drills would be mad, wouldn't they? Like, it wouldn't just be normal training. It would be like, fucking, how many plates can you knock out the air with a football? It'd be like totally fucking
just mad shit going on.
Training, yeah.
But the more they get to know each other, the better they'll be. Which is, I said it the other day on, I think it was my live stream. I was saying they will come good. I don't know if that's just me kind of being biased towards my opinion of Dan's ability, but yeah, I just think they will come good.
Yeah, Kanya comes in for Emerson, who Dan says needs a break. Rox is on subs. Campbell's in the chat. Good evening, Mr. Campbell. Hope you're enjoying Blackpool. Vicente into AMC is the only change for them. And why would you change? They do look dominant at the moment, bar a little bit of a hammering from Northern Burn, but Northern Burn look equally as good. So it could have been either side of hammering that, to be fair, tonight. Haggis boys, anything to say that hasn't already been said?
Who told Campbell the stream was on? It's supposed to be a secret. What the fuck's going on here? Who told him? and why is he in Blackpool watching this shit?
Yeah.
Anyway,
a secret stream that was publicised in a public chat. Yeah, blew me right.
Haggis looked thin behind that 11, or probably even 9 or 10 of that 11. I know they really want Michelini, but they haven't got that much to give, and it's a situation where they're kind of gambling on the 2 big names at front, the 2 big names at the back, and it's working for now because we've got less suspensions. We've not had that many injuries so far, and if they keep it together, they're going to be flying. There's no doubt about that. But it does feel like it's kind of not built on the best of foundations, in my opinion. But
yeah,
who knows?
Yeah, predictions here, Dims.
Vieri hat-trick, 4-0 Haggis.
Oh, Vieri hat-trick, 4-0 Haggis. That would be some turn up for the books, I think. Obviously, Vieri was formerly at Stackington. I think he played about 3 or 4 before he moved for Impenza.
He's mad at Dan for doing his drugs test in the last save.
yeah, and it is 2-0. The goals are racking up from the Haggis boys. I think they are top scorers in the league with 17 goals. This puts them on 19, I think. I checked at half time, and that was fairly in control. Sorry, 18. Fairly in control from the Haggis boys, with Stackington creating absolutely nothing against that line of 3 DMCs. If one was scoring, you'd be worried. The fact that both of them are scoring is even more worrying. Some standouts there: Kufra coming in and doing bits, and over at the Stackington boys, who may just be tempted to make some comprehensive changes. If anyone was wondering the answer to the question, will Campbell post in the Twitter group over the next 72 hours? The answer at the moment is yes. But in about 10 minutes, I'll tell you whether that's going to change to a no or whether it will still be a strong yes. Let's just have a little look at what Dan wants to do. Amoroso not doing much against his former club, kind of really blocked out by those 3 DMCs of Haggis. And Brasini struggling to really influence the game. And Kanya coming in for Emerson is on a 6 with a booking and hasn't really done anything with the ball. We'll just give Dan a couple of seconds to have a little look what he wants to do. He does like to usually, he's not wanting to be scared to make changes when they've looked clear and they haven't created anything.
I was about to say something nice about Haggis and the team, but he's put a comment saying praise us, so I'm just not going to bother. Let's just sit in silence and let him think about his actions.
Yeah, I think my advice to Campbell would be he needs some sort of therapy for the amount of positive affirmation he needs from 40-year-old men. We should probably try and seek it in a therapist, I reckon. First time we've done nothing, just switch Marcelino with Dyer. So we're just going to go Marcelino with Dyer. There we go. So Dyer going in AMC. Dyer going to AMC. That's all they do. Haggis go. Let me just check who he said was Roxas on subs. Roxas went as is. And we go until 60 minutes. 50, and there is Van Nistelrooy. Haggis boys looking scarily good. Van Nistelrooy had another chance there and put it over the bar with a bit of pressure from Volodyankov. 5 from Ambrosini, a 5 from Argel coming in for Sami Hupia. Questions for the Stackington manager here in terms of what he wants to do. You've got Mileski, Holland and Vlahovic on the bench. Do you kind of just see the 90 minutes through here, Dims, or do you kind of try and go for it and get yourself back into the game?
He'll make changes. I think you need to get some positives out of it, don't you? 3-0's horrible. You don't want it to be 4 or 5. So yeah, you try and get a goal, something off the bench to kind of see what they've got and whether they can start the next game. But there's no chance of a comeback. Haggis have been dominant. Yeah,
they have indeed. And you'd expect that maybe Vicente comes off. They do like to rotate that AMC position, and maybe I would imagine Juan Gomez for a Tetradze, so he doesn't pick up a booking or a yellow, because he's so integral to them and he's been so good. We'll just give them a couple of more seconds to decide what they're doing, purely just because I think Dan's is going to be a bit of war and peace in terms of what he's doing.
Sorry, did you show conditions? I know you'll be thinking about conditions. Just so.
On horse, I'm not sure if I did, mate, to be fair. It's a good shout. Just check on the scores. United still beating Burnley 1-0 and Ireland beating South Africa on the rugby. Kufra off for Guede. Stick him in the middle up top. Okay, brilliant. Excellent. I love that. Ellen rocks. Right, push the AM to the right-sided striker. Bringing Vlahovic on for Marcelino.
Did you get the Valtellina sub as well, just in case you missed it?
I didn't see that, mate. Cheers. Bringing Vlahovic on for Marcelino and putting Dyer back. Cagna off for Holland. Forward arrow, please. Dan, I'll come back to that in a sec, mate. Just check if that's all right. Vicente for Valtellina, was that, mate? Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, and swapping with Perez. Yeah.
Swapping
with Perez on the left, yeah.
Excellent. That looks right. Stackington. Dan, just you wanting the diag? Yeah.
He's happy with that, yeah.
Lovely, spot on. I'm going to crack on. Haggis sniffing blood and going for more. 1 at the back, 3 up top. It is all guns blazing, but it does open the game up for Stackington ever so slightly to see if they can get in. Vieri misses the target. Could have added his second. Vieri and Van Nistelrooy in a little bit. It looked like a direct free kick, that, from Petkov. Petkov scoring his 3rd goal of the season, I think, from that DMC position. He's been scarily good from in there. It's been a bit of a master stroke. There's Vieri with a brace, and this is turning into an absolute bloodbath for the Haggis boys. It is Van Nistelrooy with a hat trick. Wow.
This is the kind of beating we saw kind of very early in the season, isn't it? We saw 5 and 6 goals a couple of times.
Yeah, and if you wanted to know whether Campbell would be tweeting or posting in the group chat, you fucking bet. Stick it all on mute, lads, if you didn't have it on mute already.
Yeah. The mute button is a saviour, boys.
It is. And we hope Elon never takes it away. Vieri was 6 chances and 5 on target and 2 goals. I mean, yeah, listen, not even on a wind up, but that was pretty incredible from Haggis.
Absolutely incredible, yeah. Strikers, it's not given that those two will play well together. So obviously very good players with their attributes, but it's not given that they'll perform in the Super League. So it's impressive that they've been absolutely unstoppable going forward.
Yeah, and
I've just seen his praises comments. I wish I hadn't said that. Yeah,
I mean, like, if we're being brutally honest about it, mate, we're praising Greavesy and Rocks, in all honesty, and I've got no issue with that. It's just Stackenton. Yeah.
If only we actually were, though. If only we were.
Yeah, I think Dan's right. Move on to tomorrow. We'll not labour the point too much for him. Over at Sloths, Northern Burn, who have been the kind of pace setters in the league. Somebody pointed out in the chat on Thursday night that they've only conceded 3 goals, which is ridiculous, to be honest. You know.
Yeah. Sloths can go top. Sloths can go top with a 4-0 win, though. That's
a good shout. Who's scored against them? Haggis have scored against them. Exiles have scored against them, and Dudley have scored against them. Tato with a really interesting point. This is all on you lot. The Van Nistelrooys, the Vieris, the Cannavaros, and all the rest. Hang your heads in shame. Tato, I get what you're saying, mate, but there is nothing we can do to stop people doing transfers that they think is good value at the time, mate. You know what I mean? Like, we've been in the league long enough, yeah. Anyway, over to Northern Burn. Let's not kind of distract from them. I'm under strict focus and concentration to not give Decor. Oh no, he hasn't got the 13. He avoided the 13 the other night. This is the Burn 11. Schools comes into AMC. A couple of other little changes. Yeah, so Schools comes into AMC, and there's a transfer deal just came in from Stackington. I wonder if he was maybe hovering how that was going to go through before that game. Northern Burn been really good, conceded 3, flying at the top, Dims. Credit to Edwards.
Absolutely credit to Edwards, yeah. The one-man show over at Burn, and he's made another transfer with Scholes that makes his squad stronger. Fiore has been really good, so that'll be a little bit of a miss. Decor's an unknown at this point, but he's obviously a very good replacement. I know Fiore's only got a 6.75 there, but if you look at it, he's tackling, he's passing, he's doing everything that Ian needs him to do. Exactly what like Nedved and Veron weren't doing last season. Just a really balanced team, and he's kind of learnt from last season. Well, last time his transfers, and he's got better, which is scary for everyone else because he was pretty fucking good anyway.
Yeah, Edwards is long. I think he was probably the earliest one to champion the idea that you don't have to have MCs kind of with high ratings every game. They just need to be effective in those kind of key areas, and he's definitely got that. He was definitely the person that brought Totti into MC and got results as a result. So yeah. Nearly. Sorry. Over to their opponents tonight, who looked very, very good for a long time, and then have hit 2 defeats on the bounce, and have looked poor in them, really. Last time out was under Alf's guardianship and really didn't turn up any trees against Foss Road. This is how they go tonight. Kerr and Van Bommel into MC again, back to where he was the game before. Rob, if you can just confirm that this is the right tactic file, because you said go back to an old one, without naming which one, mate, unless I've missed that message. So if you can just confirm, and then if you confirm who your captain is as well.
I think it just means any tactic file that Alf didn't send in. I think it's what he was getting at, which is a bit unfair. But thoughts, it's a surprisingly functional team from a Sloths manager that looks slightly weaker than it did kind of 4 weeks ago. Is my thoughts. Yeah, I think that's nice, succinct analysis, really. Predictions here. That Burn away kit looks good, doesn't it? Oh yeah, sexy that. I like
really,
that.
Really nice. Predictions?
2-1 to the Burn, I would say.
Rob saying Van Bommel captain.
Trezeguet to score.
Trezeguet to score, and the game had auto selected Van Bommel for us and did us a little bit of a favour. A lot of Northern Burn early doors. Slots teams aren't built on defensive prowess, and Penza trying to get off the mark. And there is Penza with his first ever goal and his second appearance for the Sloths since being traded to Sancti Salitas for Ronaldinho. Northern Burn did look on top though before that goal. Booking for Nicky Butt, that'll be a slight worry given what he's in there to do. Montoya and Totti in the game. And there is Penza with a brace. Ooh. There is Penza for a brace, silencing the critics who lauded Northern Burn before the kickoff. And this is what we're looking like. A pretty even game, but by that first 15 minutes, it felt as though Sloths were kind of really trying to get forward, Dims.
Yeah, all hail the supreme leader. That's some comeback after his kind of week in the potato factory. Some comeback for Rob. Yeah, Northern Burn kind of got going at the end, but it wasn't enough to get on the score sheet. So I think it's going to be a good second half, this one, I reckon.
Yeah.
Especially after Rob's subs to mess it up.
Yeah, Rob's went as is, very Edwards-esque, and I've got a feeling that Edwards won't go as is. Montella with a 5. And a lot of comments in the chat about Montella, about Penza playing in the 2, clearly showing he can. Trezeguet and him have been scarily good. I think they'll have about 12 or 13 goals between them by the end of tonight, maybe more even, with how good Penza was early doors. We'll just leave Edwards' side up for a little bit longer. Would you be doing anything here? Do you hook Montella, or do you kind of keep him on?
I don't know. Look at the bench. It's not game-changing material, is it? You might bring kind of a Lundberg on for a decor or something, but it's not gonna affect the game too much. So yeah, I'd stick a Diagaro on Totti and I would be done. But that's just me.
Edwards goes as is, and then almost at the same time, Rob says if Edwards changes anything, he's rattled. Drink it in. He doesn't change anything.
He is right, and he didn't, so he's not rattled.
We get to 60 minutes. And Ortega is standing over a free kick just as we get to 60 minutes. Imagine Robbie Keane behind them beasts. I'm guessing Steve Wright is sniffing around the Rob Sloth player, trying to make that deal happen.
Steve's trying to get rid of Keane, but he's got a bit of it. I mean, I said to him I'd take Keane, but not for the price he wants. So. If anyone wants Robbie Keane, go to Steve after his first litre with Jack Daniels tonight. Between his first and second litres, and you'll be in. Yeah.
Where are you at the minute this season on the Steve Wright curve of optimism, Dimble, after that win tonight?
For me, I am. I'm just approaching that solid 2-1 wins era, which is my ghostly face at the top of the curve.
Yeah, we go over to Edwards, who, to be fair to him, he doesn't build squads to kind of have versatility in game. He backs a first 11, they're highly effective. His record speaks for it himself. He probably is a manager that when things are going like this, 2-0 down, he probably does just have to ride it out, to be fair. You can maybe hook scores and go 2 up top, but again, you're playing that diamond. But Sloths are playing that diamond and it's working. So yeah, I'm curious to know. I mean, what would you do, Dimble?
I don't think there's much you can do to make it. I would put that little diag on Totti, or maybe even I might even be tempted to go like two more DMs, drop the core back and put an arrow on Totti from midfield or something like that. But the Scholes thing, it's like Scholes is an amazing replacement for Totti in that system. I don't think he's an elite AMC, and he's not going to be able to play alongside Totti probably. So it's a good signing for Edwards because he doesn't have to give him too much to get him.
Yeah,
he doesn't have an immediate spot to put him in. That might be his game over the next few weeks. He's trying to find a spot for Scholesy.
Yeah, I agree. I think how good Fiore has been on there is a door opening for the Burn boys. Edwards, if you could have your change lined up, please, if you do want to make one. Nicky Butt, we said early doors, booking early, and it would give his manager a few little bits of anxiety. He'd probably lose one of the strikers here, or lose Enrique and drop Van Bommel in and bring Zidane.
Yeah, with Rob as the manager, it's a barn door, isn't it? Because he's going to go in with no DM or something.
They probably go 3 up top.
No DM, 3 up top, yeah. So this could change the game. Oh no, he's gone sensible. Look at him. He's gone sensible.
What a guy. What a guy. He wants to go top tonight. And Mr. Edwards, if you let me know if you want to do anything here. You've now got John Welsh in that DM position. You're probably going to have a bit more opportunity for Scholes and Ortega to do something. Do you maybe go 3 EMs here?
I think, most managers would throw bodies forward, but it doesn't always lead to more chances. I don't know. With the extra man though, why not? Why not go for
I
it?
think at the very least, I'd expect the wing backs to be bombing on. I think.
Yeah, I would definitely include a couple more hours at the very least. Arrows.
Yeah, absolutely. Island smashing. Are you been watching much of the rugby? Are you asked about rugby? I know Steve's going to say, "Oh, it's not rugby league."
No, I'm not. I usually watch the internationals. My in-laws are banging to it, and they're in France today watching it. But can't say I'm too bothered. And then the new rulings. I tried to watch a couple of warm-up games, and the old head tackle.
Yeah, went a
Rule
bit nuts
seemed a
early
bit
doors,
fucking
isn't
off.
it?
Yeah.
It was like the red cards on the last build. It's just like everybody getting fucking sent off. It looks as though Sloths are going to put in a very Northern Burn performance, and I mean that's why he's brought in Penza in, really, isn't it? You know, to not create much, but to take his chances when he's got them. The Sloths are top of the league. They arrest a slip of 2 defeats back to back, and as it stands, oh no, Haggis are top. Is that right?
I forgot about that.
Man, I
They're
built that up.
2 goals short of going above them anyway. So yeah, third though, that's fucking great from Rob.
Yeah, and
Respect to them.
you know, he's starting to cut a third of the league adrift. I think, you know, you're almost looking at being on double points of a third of the league by the end of the night. That's pretty exciting. Great game, Edwards. Please don't merge on me in my sleep. Diag, yeah, excellent. We will do us against Dudley. I think, why not? This is how we go tonight. Few changes. Finnan comes in for a debut. We want to push Boyer and Gerard on, given that Steve plays the one. Oh, I'm going to keep going. Given that Steve plays that one DMC, to try and kind of overload him a little bit, and we'll see how that goes. Finnan against his dad tonight, hoping to do his dad dirty over at the Dudley Hill boys, who play a new tactic file. The Burn Trident that we've just seen working to effect. Archie Back comes in for his debut. Comandini, who's looked good in text, up top, and Colin Patsatoglu in the middle. Any predictions in the... I'm going to sneeze. Sorry. Any predictions in the basement battle here, Dims?
It's going to be a draw, isn't it? Just to disappoint everybody involved. I think it's going to be a draw, mate. Yeah,
just a 4 absolutely flat. Yeah, I mean, listen, I think the first goal is massive here, because we both concede them for fun. Someone's hit the bar. I think it was Pippo hitting the bar. Comandini getting in there, free kick. Comandini with a chance again. Feels a little bit heavy, Dudley Hill, even though Inzaghi's hit the bar. Ronaldinho with a chance, but it's cut out. And Smerton in there. Ronaldinho with a foul against him, I think. Penalty. It's a penalty. Gerard puts Sanctier 1-0 up at the 30-minute mark. But there is Comandini, who we said looks very, very good, and does repay the faith in his manager. Feels like this could be... I was just going to say it could be another goal before the half-time. And how fitting that two teams who've been absolutely honking all season find themselves level at the break and level on match stats. Comandini with an 8 for Dudley Hill, 6s and 7s across the rest of the pitch, and Kaladze on an 8 on a yellow rather might be a little bit of a worry for Steve. No real condition issues there. In terms of Sanctier, 6 from Oliver Kahn. Everybody else looks fairly solid. Just looks as though we're not supplying Pippo with enough ammunition, to be honest. And we will go as is. So we'll wait for Steve to decide what he wants to do.
Yeah, interesting. Kaladze's not been quite as good as usual, has he? He's been great for a while, for the last few seasons. He's not quite started this save on fire, but I'm sure he will come good.
Hasn't. Corner for Dudley Hill. Dudley Hill in there. Punch from Oliver Kahn, who has played 1-4. Both teams have suffered as a result of kind of keeper fours, to be fair. Sanctier trying to go forward. Back clattered by Steven Gerrard. Dede. Cross from Comandini, but he couldn't put it into the back of the net. We'll go over to Dudley Hill first, just the fact that I'm on comms. 6s for their back line. Comandini with an 8, who does look a little bit dangerous as he comes forward. We'll see what Steve Wright wants to do. You be doing anything here if you were Stadiums?
It's hard to say because you can't change anything. Then backlot, there's no point in changing those because you not got better to come on. Going forward, they've been all right. I don't know. Maybe he's been singing Robbie Keane's praises in my WhatsApps all week. So maybe it's time to
he's trying to
put
get rid of him tonight.
put Robbie in the shop window and see if someone will buy it.
He's totally bipolar as a manager, isn't he? It's either like the sky's falling in and it's the end of the world, or like it's the best thing ever. We're gonna do this. We're gonna hand Yosipov a debut. That's how we're gonna go. And we go over to the Dudley Hill boys.
That was about
wants to do.
That was about seven sentences of changes in the text in about 3 seconds there, Doug.
Keane, Fork, Gladzy.
Trying to type that out would have taken you fucking ages.
yeah, but ironically still about 3 times as less chaotic as what my track record is. Keen for Gladzy, slot with Patsad, Diag, arrow to AMC, please. That's also Steve Wright going for it, and also the Satdeeee boys are going for it with another AMC. There is a chance from Martin Keown, but he doesn't put it in the back of the net, and there is Comandini who puts Dudley Hill 2-1 up. He said he did look very, very good before kickoff. Inzaghi puts it over. Are they going to regret getting rid of Mpenza, who's just scored 2 to put slots back into the top 3? Penalty, another penalty. Abiati saves it after he's 4. Oh, and there is 3-1. When it rains, it pours. What can you do when this game kicks you in the cunts? Robbie Keane. Maybe he will stay a little bit for his manager. There is the full-time whistle. A decent game for the neutral to watch. Not bad from Satdeeee, but again, just couldn't quite get over the line. Abiati with a massive save and a 9, proving that a keeper 4 came back at when your number 1 becomes back available. Comandini with a 9, man of match performance and 2 goals. Looks very, very, very good. And Dudley Hill are back on track. Any thoughts, Dims?
That's a keeper 9 making the difference. Steve deserves a bit of keeper karma, so hopefully you'll get some as well since you had that 4 recently.
Been absolutely bummed, hasn't he, by the keeper karma. Absolutely bummed over the last couple of weeks. So yeah, fair play, Steve, and well done, mate. Over at the Exiles v Stanley next. Exiles who themselves are kind of on a little bit of a patchy run. 1 win in 4. And tonight Ferdinand and Aymar are out. So Matreski and Nedved come in. Thoughts on the Exile season so far, Dims?
I couldn't believe they were battered 6-1 or whatever it was. I couldn't believe they were top of the league after 5 games or whatever it was. This team just fucking does weird things. I love the Veron at DMC thing. It's batshit, but I quite like it. It's just good to have Fife involved properly with no kind of no excuses, all that type of stuff. Fife is involved. It's his own team. I just love to have him back involved properly because he's obviously a Super League legend. I mean, just doing this gig for, was it 3 seasons as a part of a 4? I can't imagine the shit he went through doing it on his own for like 2 or 3 seasons. Fuck me.
Absolutely, mate. My brain's fried now going into like season 4, and I tell you what, one thing that I definitely need to kind of swallow a bit of humble pie. Me respect for Fifey now, is fucking through the roof, because could I fuck not for all the fucking tea in China. We go over to their opponents, the Stanley, Red Rose Stanley, who Savage is brought in an AMR tonight, and interesting to see how that goes. Their form again has been a little bit patchy, kind of scratching around for wins really. Thoughts on this?
It looks like a good 10-man formation with a bloke just stood out on the right wing. I don't know, it could work. Madavikia is a bit of a live wire. I just really, I don't know what to make of it. It strikes me as he's kind of lost his head a little bit, but maybe he hasn't. Maybe he's the most sane one in the room. Who knows? But when I saw it posted, and I just thought, it's not gone well the last couple of weeks or whatever. Like the last few weeks has gone a bit off plan. But how good were they at the start of the season?
Flying, scoring for fun as well, weren't they?
Yeah,
scoring for fun. Predictions here, Dims?
3-2 home win.
Yeah, I think solid home win here. I would agree with you. I think, mate. Interesting to see if that AMR lasts the full game. But I think we've put a couple of curses on people tonight who've kind of made with equal words. We're
Oh,
raced towards half time. Not much
always
happening
happens, doesn't
at
it?
all.
You make a comment on comms and it's going to go wrong. What I will say is, if he played that formation for the next 6 weeks, Madovicky will be getting 4 or 5 sixes. That's all I will say.
We get a half time with neither team really serving up anything of note. And sixes and sevens and a couple of eights in there for Fifey with no real issues around condition. I mean, we'll not waste too much time on that, lads, to be honest, mate. It was a bit of a shit half. Did I go to match stats? 5 and 3. Nothing much happening. And 7, Stanley looks slightly better in the match ratings. Exiles looks slightly better in the match stats. And we'll see what the boys do. Maravilla, not tackling, not heading, or passing.
He's getting on the ball. That's good. It's good. He's getting on the ball. He's in that channel on his own. I completely forgot that Max had been moved. I played against him on Thursday, didn't I? Again for the second time this season.
Yeah, he got an assist.
Yeah, he's got. It slipped my mind that he was playing for Stanley again. So yeah, it's interesting. I didn't even notice it when I looked at the team.
Yeah, first goal could be massive here, I think. Both sides not really scoring that many over the last couple of weeks. Savage hasn't yet posted. Move Madovic at AMC. There we go. Brilliant. And we'll go to 60. Sigalko with a header. Doesn't put it in the back of the net. And Diego Simeone, the captain for Stanley, is injured. You'd expect it to be Di Biagio.
Yeah. There's an option to put Davids there, but I don't think he will. Di Biagio's done pretty good work when he's played so far this season. He's done all right.
Yeah, and he was fairly solid. Was a full chest he was solid for last season. Season that'll not be named. He was fairly solid. Thank you very much, Mr. Savage. We'll get to 63, and then we'll just whip up conditions and stats for the 60-minute changes. Savage, if you just have a quick glance, and then Fifey will show you yours. 8 for Sebastian Frey, Veron with a 7, Guigu with an 8, who is one of Fifey's cult heroes. And let's have a little look how the rest of the team's doing in terms of condition, and no real off issues there. Maybe the Duca, you'd slightly worry about him. Tristan, interestingly, on the bench. Can't quite find the right combination of this front three. I think the issue is for Fifey. Yeah, see what he wants to do. Are you doing anything if you read that team here, Dims?
It's hard to say. I mean, if I was an away team, I'd be quite happy with a draw. I think Fifey would. I think Fifey's instinct is to go for it, isn't it? So we'll see if he sticks by his instincts or whether he bottles it a little bit. But yeah, I would be changing it slightly.
Swap Nedved and Kelly, then Riquelme for Kelly. Thank you very much, Fifey. Really, really concise. And we'll see what Savage wants to do. See where he wants to go with this now. Sigalko again with another 60 minutes under his belt. This is probably Sigalko's longest run of minutes without a goal in the Super League ever.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Played every game, hasn't he? Played every game, played all 8.
Edwards has mentioned his heading a couple of times. He said header early, didn't you? And his heading's low. But apart from that, he looks like a good Sigalko, I'd say.
Yeah. Mike, mate, if you could let us know what you want to do, bud. There we go. Madovic, you're off for Deisler. Forward arrows on Pepper and Deisler. Good. Brilliant.
I'm worried about us.
Wrecking it.
If we're not talking about Maxim, what are we talking about? If we're not talking about Maxim in this league, then we're doing the wrong job, I think.
Absolutely. 75 minutes played, Nedved. Davids with a chip and a book in, Riquelme, Mitrevski. Davids with a chance, Batistuta, you think one goal is going to be enough? Free kick to Stanley clears it. Batistuta fires it in with a corner. And that probably both managers will feel that reflects how they've been form-wise over the last couple of weeks. Struggling to get the ball in the back of the net, struggling to see games out. Although ratings weren't too bad. Keep at 8, man of the match. I know Fifey likes to say that if you keep as man of the match, then the game's kind of not went really how you'd want it to go. Stanley boys look slightly better with a couple of more 8s. Simeone on a 6 for anybody that's interested. Not quite Saeed dead, but he is looking fairly struggling there. Another draw for Stanley, and Fifey saying he cannot score, so we rock on. I think that brings us to the last game of the night, which I think could be the best game of the night, to be fair. The Vikings, who got off the mark with a win on Thursday night for the first time this season, do line up like this tonight. The only change is Petit coming in for, was it Cois that Horse said it should be the pronunciation? And this is how they go with the 1 AMC and the 2 up top. Thoughts on Vikings, mate?
Yeah, that's a top 6 team that started the season badly and will only get better from here. I know Jens has been kind of writing it off, and maybe it is the end of the season, but there's no reason why he can't put a decent run together and push for the 6. It's a very, very good team. There's no weaknesses really. He was like a top class centre back, but he had one, so live with your decisions and see how it goes.
Fulchester, who have been, really, really good for a long time now. Beat on the first game of the season when he was kind of a lot of players short. Beckham being his key man, comes back in tonight. Iron Robin, who is 17 and is absolutely flying with 3 goals inside 7 games and a 7.63 average rating. And also Constantino, who'd have thought it? Yeah. Nearly a goal a game. What a guy, what a player. I think my legacy for Super League will never be a star, I don't think, but it'll definitely be Constantino.
Yeah, he don't even look good. He don't even look good, does he, Constantino? He looks like 14 finishing, 14 off the ball. You think, yeah, but he's proven if you play him and if you're patient with him, he'll do the business. Maybe not in the playoffs, but he'll do the business in the regular season for definite. Fulchester look like a difficult team to stop, and Mack just has this knack, doesn't he, of creating these teams. So yeah,
absolutely. He loves attacking football, and Fulchester, they had that season where I think they scored the second highest goals in Super League ever, only second to that Hodges Devils run, I think. And you think it could be a season like that for them this season as well, although Haggis are kind of doing their best. Lucio, who came in for Baldini, was replacing him last game because he was suspended. If Hopkins is around, I'm guessing it's going to be Vialli. I'm not going to waste kind of too much time, given that we're kind of cracking on a little bit.
Yeah, Willie Vialli is a solid replacement. He's maybe not quite ready first season, but he's a good backup.
You've had him a couple of times, I think, haven't you?
Yeah, he did pretty well for me, and he doesn't look very good there. But give it 12 months and it'd be class.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeremies in there, Henri with a header, but battered away by the Fulchester keeper. Constantino with a long range shot, but gets it badly wrong. Chiotis in there again, and there is Iron Robin, who is firing Fulchester into the top 2 tonight, given that Northern Burn were defeated by the Sloths. Can they get a half time with the lead still intact? They do indeed. Lucio off injured, and Robin on 42 minutes put the Fulchester boys up. Although it did look a very, very even game, and Nicholas Anelka had a chance that probably should have put away, but Jens's rotten luck with strikers continues. Over at the Fulchester boys first, Robin does back that up with an 8. It looks like a solo effort as there's no assist across the team, and Dida's doing his bit at the back to keep the Vikings strikers out. Over at the Vikings, we've got some 6s and 7s and an 8 from Giovanni van Bronckhorst. Jens Jeremy's yellow card will be a slight worry for Jens, and Manu Petit missing 4 of 5 key tackles. Front 2 not really doing anything. Salas on the bench. Other than that, what do you do with your Jens?
There's 2 up front and wing backs. This is why I play wingers. I just don't think there's enough kind of feed in them. People love wing backs, but this is why I prefer wingers. Because when you look at a team and create much, and then you look at your players on the page, and you think there's just not enough bodies in the half. So that'd be something I would look at. He'd probably go longer arrows. That's I imagine how he'd fix that.
Yeah. Jens saying our luck. It does feel a little bit like, mate. It could be worse, mate. It could be Sancti. We'll see what Jens wants to do. Hopkins going as is. Very, very predictable that, and why the hell would you? They looked very, very good. So Jens is hitting the button. Soroczynski up to MC. Salas for Del Piero. Salas for Del Piero. 3 up top. Anelka in the middle. Centralise Jeremy's. Long arrows on Wigbacks. There we go. Brilliant. Look all right, you, Dimsat?
Yeah, I mean, you haven't got much creativity that wide there, isn't it? But yeah, it's what you asked for.
Yeah, and I think given Fulchester are playing 4 across the middle, it might not be the worst idea actually to just try and get it out wide and get it lumped in. Chances for Vikings there. We jump to 66 minutes. There's a book in there for someone. I think it might have been Emery with the foul. We go over to Fulchester. Condition looks fine. Ronaldo on 78% though. Might be a slight little worry. 7s, 8s, and 6s. So if you let me know what you want to do, Macker, I'm going to take Hopkins a shout on the subs just to keep it like understandable, to be honest, mate. But yeah, cheers for dropping in, Mac. We go over to the Vikings boys, who again have got 6s and 7s. Just the 1-8 from Giovanni van Bronckhorst. Not really much you can do from this position.
No, you got defensive players on the bench. Yeah, you maybe had an arrow or two in the middle, but apart from that, he's gonna have to just cross his fingers and pray to Odin.
Ronaldo for Chiesa is the change for the Fulchester boys. Wing backs up the midfield with short arrows.
Yeah, that's fair.
Call for Petit. Swap with GVB. And we roll to full time and to the end of game week 8. Vikings again, they've not lost many games this season, and oh, there we go, Iron Robin.
Robin again.
What a Robin he looks. Oh, Jens then came in after that. Sorry, Jens, mate. He's then came in a couple of minutes later in terms of the text with just a formation swap. Sorry, Jens, bud.
Yeah, nothing we can do about that, mate. Nothing. Not
yeah, sorry, bud. And a red card for Ayala. Goes from bad. Yeah, goes from bad to worse. Goes from bad to worse for the Vikings boys. Ayala, I've had him loads of times, and every time I've had him, he's an absolute liability. I couldn't get him out the door quick enough, mate. Looks good as well. He's just absolute fight merchant.
Yeah, he's not good, is he? He's not great. I think he's a good backup, but he's not a starter, is my opinion.
Yeah. The Fulchester train marches on. Vikings created a hell of a lot, but they absorbed a lot of pressure, Fulchester, based on those numbers. And it is a man of the match performance from Iron Robin. You can say that without even looking at it. 8 for Cafu. Nothing much else to shout about. And there is Robin with 2 goals from 3 shots, 2 on target, and puts the Fulchester boys right hot on the heels of Haggis. Unlucky ends, and those 3 at the top do look dominant. We had 2-1 Cosmos against Fossey Road with Kuehl and Stanic getting the goals, and 0-0 ballfest really between Exeter and Stanley, with Simone being injured, the standout. Haggis absolutely dominant against Stackington, 6-0. Van Nistelrooy with 3, Vieri with 2. The league should be on watch by now. Los Santos Kings and Badgers, a game that Hodgie didn't want to lose, and a game that Tato again fails to lose because he comes back from 2 goals behind. Dudley Hill setting their season back into light with a 3-1 win. Biati the hero rather. Gerard missed pen, and then they went up the other side and scored. How the twist of fate changes in Champ. Sloths 2-0 against Northern Burn, and looked really good value for it from the off, despite what the match stat say. And then Fulchester beating Vikings 2-0, and that leaves the league table looking like this. Haggis, Fulchester and Northern Burn make up the top 3, with Sloths in the top 4. East Coast, Exiles, Stanley and Badgers making up 5th through to 8th, and then Fossey Road, Stackington and Los Santos in 9th, 10th and 11th respectively, with Vikings, Dudley Hill and Sancte on 8 and 7 points. Definitely that Dudley Hill win kind of keeps them with a faint hope, but a big opportunity missed for Saturday tonight, given that they probably would have been up to 9th and within 3 points of the dotted line had they beat Dudley Hill. Tomorrow night's fixtures, I'm going to do packs straight away. Tomorrow night's fixtures, actually I might catch the Joyce and Zhang fight before I do packs, to be honest. Tomorrow night's fixtures, Cocoms is available, I believe. I think Fifey might have put himself forward for it, but I might have made that up. Badgers against Stackington, Dudley Hill against Exiles, Coast against Sancte, fucking brilliant. Fossey Road against Vikings, Northern Burn against Fulchester, Slots against Santos, Stanley against Haggis. Team stats And player stats: Van Nistelrooy, top of the average ratings. Tackles per game for Tato to get a wrecked over. Dribbles per game, nobody's bothered. Dimble, any last thoughts from you?
No. It's looking forward to playing you guys tomorrow. Should we do our teams live? We'll set our teams up live. No.
When now?
Yeah.
I think there's transfers to do for Horse, otherwise I would, mate.
Lovely stuff.
And given that he's just had an absolute hiding, I don't want to leave him short for.
Is that 108 transfers in 9 game weeks now? Is that
108 in 9 game weeks? Is it? That's crazy.
Good going, lads.
Crazy. Right, Dims, cheers for your company, mate. I'm gonna go and watch the boxing, and then I'll get packs out after the boxing, lads. Happy Saturday, Super League, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
Cheers, Doug. Top effort.